nation's birth. As they did during his life, Monroe's more illustrious colleagues overshadowed him in death. At first glance, it is unclear why Americans neglect Monroe. A brief introduction to his life reveals that this oft-forgotten American founder was always at the heart of the most important political events of the era. Indeed, his career holds up beside those of even the most decorated leaders in U.S. history. Monroe came of age during the American Revolution, when at 18 years of age he fought with George Washington and received a wound at the Battle of Trenton on an icy Christmas night in 1776. He served in the Confederation Congress during the so-called critical period of the 1780s, and then opposed the Constitution at the Virginia Ratification Convention. During the nation's first elections under the new Constitution, he waged a famous campaign against his friend James Madison for one of Virginia's seats in the House of Representatives. Monroe went on to play a key role during the political struggles of the 1790s as a member of the growing Democratic-Republican opposition. Elected a senator from Virginia in 1791, he led the opposition to Alexander Hamilton's political program in the Senate, while Madison led the Republicans in the House. Immediately thereafter, from 1794 to 1797, he served as the U.S. minister to the French Republic, and, upon his return from Paris, won election as governor of Virginia in 1799. After Jefferson won the presidency in 1800, Monroe played a prominent role within the third president's administration, especially in foreign affairs. Jefferson first sent Monroe back to France to negotiate the purchase of the Louisiana Territory from Napoleon Bonaparte in 1803. Later, Monroe served as a diplomat in both Britain and Spain, before returning home to become Secretary of State in 1811 under President Madison. Monroe entered the cabinet as the fourth president's right-hand man, just as the United States and Great Britain careened toward war. During the War of 1812, Monroe even headed the Departments of War and State simultaneously for a brief period. In 1816, Monroe achieved the pinnacle of American political success when Americans elected him as their fifth president. Monroe's two-term presidency saw its share of successes. During his famous tour of New England, even his Federalist opponents greeted him warmly, and one newspaper called his administration the beginning of an era of good feelings, with the apparent death of party strife. Monroe's administration also acquired Florida, extended America's claim to a border on the Pacific, and helped broker the Missouri Compromise. Finally, after a near-unanimous re-election, he created the document that later became known as the Monroe Doctrine, undoubtedly his most famous accomplishment. The sheer breadth of Monroe's resume is nearly unmatched in American politics, yet history rarely remembers him as anything other than a bit player among the founders. For most people, it is enough if friends and family remember them fondly after they die, but for others, a grander audience beckons. Politicians, in particular, usually hope that some great accomplishment during their careers will ensure their place in history. They want to leave a legacy. Most American presidents have considered their historical legacies while in office. Abraham Lincoln, often credited as the greatest U.S. president, was keenly aware that history would judge the way he handled the issue of slavery. A popular Lincoln anecdote illustrates the 16th president's concern for his legacy. On January 1, 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation sat on Lincoln's desk. The president twice picked up his pen and placed it back down without signing. In explanation, he turned to William Seward and told his Secretary of State that he had been shaking hands all morning. Lincoln knew that, if my name ever goes into history, it will be for this act, and my whole soul is in it. If my hand trembles when I sign the proclamation, all who examine the document after will say, "He hesitated." Lincoln then took a moment and again picked up the pen, understanding that his decision to sign the Emancipation Proclamation would shape his legacy forever. Modern presidents are no different. George W. Bush recognized that he would be remembered one way or another for his response to the events of September 11, 2001. Though he faced staunch opposition and low approval numbers for his actions in Iraq and Afghanistan, Bush maintained that history